From the outside, Muslims often appear extremely hostile toward the LGBT community. They justify their aggressive behavior with these verses. Quran, Surah Al-A'raf, verse 81. For ye practice your lusts on men in preference to women. Ye are indeed a people transgressing beyond bounds. Quran Surah Ash-Shu'ara, verses 165 to 166. Do you approach males among the worlds and leave what your Lord has created for you as mates? Indeed, you are a transgressing people. And also in Surah An-Naml, verses 54 to 55, and Surah Al-Ankabut, verse 28 to 29. In Hadith Bukhari 5886, Prophet Muhammad said,
I curse effeminate men who act like women and effeminate women who behave like men. If you encounter any such individuals, turn them out of your houses!
Early companions carried out brutal killings. Ibn Abbas was asked about the punishment for homosexuals. He replied,
Choose the highest building in the city. Then he is thrown from it upside down, then followed by stones.
Ali ibn Abi Talib did the same. A homosexual was brought to him, made to climb a minaret, and flung headfirst. Ali said,
This is how you are thrown into hellfire.
ISIS later copied this exact method, throwing gay men off rooftops and minarets.
But here is the massive hypocrisy. Many of the Prophet's closest companions and early Muslim leaders were openly effeminate or engaged in homosexual acts, and the Prophet never punished them.
According to the historian Al-Madaini, who died in 225 Anno Hijriya, or 843 AD, recorded in Al-Marzubani's Nur al-Qabas, Afan ibn Abi al-As, who was the father of Caliph Uthman, was effeminate or mu'anaf and loved playing the tambourine at weddings. His brother Al-Hakam was the same. Al-Nadr ibn al-Harith was a halaki, likely meaning someone who performs oral sex or a passive partner whose rear has been rounded out. The Prophet's companion, Safwan ibn Umayyah, had sex with him. Khalid ibn Khuwaylid ibn Hizam, the son of Hizam, the brother of the Prophet's wife, Khadijah, was described as effeminate. The Prophet's cousin, Rabi'a ibn al-Harith, had sex with him. Numerous Umayyad figures were the same. Yazid I, Yazid ibn Muawiyah, governors like Khalid ibn Abdullah al-Qasri, Anbasa ibn Abi Uhayha, Abdul Aziz ibn Marwan, Al-Walid ibn Yazid, and others. All described as halaki, mastu, passive, or effeminate sodomites. Why didn't the Prophet execute them? Two clear reasons stand out. 1. The Prophet himself was likely a closeted gay man. 2. They were people close to him, so the rules didn't apply. Example 1. According to Al-Tabarani in Al-Mu'jam al-Kabir, a companion asked permission to get between the Prophet and his shirt. The Prophet allowed it. The man entered from behind, embraced him, and began rubbing his chest against the Prophet's back. He then asked questions about what is unlawful to withhold. This intimate physical contact, a man pressing his body against the Prophet from behind, was permitted. His genital was rubbing, pressing against the Prophet's holy back or buttocks. This is definitely not typical behavior between strictly heterosexual men. Example 2. A cross-dressing Prophet. The Prophet commanded that men who wear women's clothing must be banished. Yet in Bukhari and Muslim, he admitted that revelation only came to him when he was wearing Aisha's clothes.
The divine inspiration did not come to me while I was wearing any of my other wives' garments, except Aisha's.
So now you know why I prefer to be with Asha the most.
He criticized effeminate men, yet he was a cross-dresser himself. This is the hadith from Bukhari and Muslim. The Prophet said to his wife Salama, "Do not annoy me regarding Aisha, for inspiration has not come to me when I was in any woman's garment but Aisha's." Example 3. Paradise Boys or Gilman. Many Quran verses describe immortal boys circulating among the believers in paradise. When you see them, you will count them as scattered pearls. The same language used for the virgin Huris. Quran Surah At-Tur, verse 24. There will circulate among them servant boys, especially for them, as if they were pearls well protected. Quran Surah Al-Waqiyah, verse 17. There will circulate among them young boys made eternal. Quran Surah Al-Insan, verse 19. There will circulate among them young boys made eternal. When you see them, you would think them as beautiful as scattered pearls. Early Muslim scholars openly debated whether believers could have sex with these boys in paradise. From Al-Suyuti's Nawadir al-Aik fi Ma'rifa el-Naik, Fresh Blooms of the Forest and the Knowledge of Intercourse. Ibn Aqil al-Hanbali recorded a debate between Abu Ali ibn al-Walid al-Mu'tazili and Abu Yusuf al-Qazwini.
It is not prohibited. There is no longer any source of corruption in Jannah. If it is prohibited in this world because it cuts off posterity and causes harm, that is absent in Jannah. This is why wine is permitted there. Therefore, finding delight in it is not prohibited.
The tendency towards males is a physical defect and is repugnant in and of itself, since it is a location that was not created for intercourse. For this reason, it is not lawfully permitted, as opposed to fermented drink, since it is where feces come out. And Jannah is far above physical infirmities.
Physical infirmity is defilement by harmful things. If there is no harm, nothing remains but to simply find delight.
The fact that Ibn al-Walid discussed this is undoubtedly because he himself often engaged in such behavior with young boys. Muhammad deliberately promised young boys in paradise to specific Muslims like Ibn al-Walid.
Later history, when sodomy was permitted in Islam, in 1453, after conquering Constantinople, Sultan Mehmed II demanded the 14-year-old son of Lucas Notaras, the highest Byzantine official after the emperor, as his sexual concubine. The father and son chose death instead. The Ottoman Empire later accepted boys from conquered Christian populations as payment instead of jizya tax, institutionalized pederasty. A modern cleric, Sheikh Abu al-Dima al-Qassab, issued a fatwa allowing sodomy to widen the anus so it could be loaded with explosives for suicide bombings. He basically said, jihad comes first. If it can only be achieved through sodomy, then there is no wrong in it. Let's watch the video clip.
قلنا لكم بالبداية راح أطلع لكم الفتوى اللي موجودة في موقع منتديات أسود السنة. سأل الوهابي شيخنا رزقكم الله الشهادة والحور العين في الجنة، أردت رضي الله عنكم أن أقوم بعملية استشهادية، وتقدمت إلى الشيخ أبو الدماء القصاب، فقال لي إننا ابتكرنا طريقة جديدة وغير مسبوقة في العمليات الاستشهادية، وهو أن يلاك في دبرك كبسولات تفجير، ولكي تتدرب على هذه الطريقة الجهادية لابد أن ترضى أن يلاط بك فترة كي يتسع دبرك وتكون مؤخرتك قادرة على أن تتحمل عبوة التفجير. وسؤالي رحمك الله، هل يجوز أن أبيح دبري لأحد الإخوة المجاهدين إذا كانت النية صالحة والهدف الدربة على الجهاد، يعني يمكن تدريب على الجهاد ليقوم بتوسيع دبري؟ فحمد الله الشيخ وأثنى عليه وقال الأصل في أن اللواط محرم ولا يجوز، غير أن الجهاد أولى فهو سنام الإسلام، وإن كان سنام الإسلام لا يتحقق إلا باللواط فلا بأس فيه، فالقاعدة الفقهية تقول الضرورات تبيح المحظورات، وما لا يتحقق الواجب إلا به فهو واجب، وليس هناك أوجب من الجهاد. وعليك أن يلاط بك لا وعليك بعد أن يلاط بك أن تستغفر الله وتكثر من الثناء عليه. وتأكد يا بني إن الله يبعث المجاهدين يوم القيامة حسب نياتهم، ونيتك إن شاء الله نصرة الإسلام. نسأل الله أن يجعلك ممن يستمعون القول ويتبعون.
Guys, this is for real. A suicide bomber did indeed try to kill the Saudi interior minister, Naif bin Abd al-Aziz. According to the sheikh, sodomy is acceptable if it is used to kill infidels. Even more disturbingly, ISIS has repeatedly raped men and boys, often filming or documenting the abuse as a tool of torture, humiliation, and control in Syria and Iraq. Similar patterns of extreme sexual violence have been reported with Boko Haram and other Islamic terrorist groups. The hypocrisy of Islamic treatment of homosexuals begins with Muhammad himself. He cursed effeminate men, ordered cross-dressers to be expelled, and commanded the killing of those who committed the act of the people of Lut. Yet he wore Aisha's clothes to receive revelations, permitted a companion to grind against him from behind, and shielded numerous effeminate and gay men in his inner circle, including relatives of his wives. These brutal rules applied to ordinary Muslims but not to the Prophet and his favorites. This was not divine justice, it was personal favoritism and desire disguised as religion. The Islamic teachings on homosexuality are savage and deadly. Muhammad did not stop at cursing or condemning. He approved execution, stoning, throwing people from heights, and banishment. These rulings have unleashed centuries of torture, suffering, and murder on countless victims. The violence was never limited to words. It was enforced with ruthless brutality against the weak and the different. Even more grotesque, Muslim leaders legalized and weaponized sodomy when it served their power. Mehmed II seized Christian boys as sexual slaves. ISIS and others raped and sodomized men and boys, filming the horrors to torture, humiliate, blackmail, and forcibly recruit them. A cleric openly issued a fatwa permitting sodomy to widen the anus for packing bombs in suicide attacks. What they punish with death among their own, they enthusiastically practice against non-Muslims and prisoners. This is not faith. It is pure hypocrisy, cruelty, and evil rooted directly in Muhammad's example.